明明健康美丽课堂，每天动一动，每天大声笑，每天睡个饱。还有天窝蜂蜜柚子茶，蜂蜜带来健康，柚子带来美丽，健康美丽喝洒哟。天窝蜂蜜柚子茶。
Alright guys, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, welcome back to the LPL as we're going to get ready to get into day number 2 of the playoffs. Of course, you are seeing on the screen the last results we just had last night. The MVP of that last game in EDG's 3-0 over LGD, it is of course Cora 1, and boy did he make Aurelia look good.
EDG looked good across the board. Of course, it was that 3-0 against LGD, although LGD very creative in the compositions that they were putting out, but tonight, it's OMG versus Starhorn Royal Club.
Yep, and this is a match that everybody has been talking about, everybody been wanting to see. And kind of the stories are in two opposite directions. Starhorn definitely on the upswing. And, well, OMG has had some struggles, especially in their bot lane. They've had to replace Cloud with the man with many names, Neymar, Tricky Boy, but they're referring to him right now as Data7, and that has been some issues.
And that bot lane, like you said, is probably the biggest issue going into this matchup. They are effectively facing possibly the strongest bot lane right now in LPL in the form of Uzi and Zero. And like you said, Starhorn Royal Club being on the upswing. Actually, the last time these teams met, Starhorn Royal Club found the 2-0 over OMG. So pressure's on.
Yeah. All across the split, they did trade technically even. So, I mean, that's in the middle. But yeah, it's all about the recent results you got to watch for. Starhorn has been an incredibly powerful force in the last few weeks of the split. They're looking like they might even be favorites going forward on this one. And we'll have to see how they do. They have a lineup that has kind of shifted a lot. They're one of the teams that subscribe to the pick up a pair of Koreans, although they have worked out a lot better as Insec has kind of gotten into the groove of things, I'd say, on his new team.
They have definitely found kind of a switch to be flipped in as far as their performance is concerned. Insec is a part of that, but I think that the larger part that gets overlooked is their mid laner's performance, Korn.
Yeah, that's very true. That was a guy who, didn't really get much of a chance to do much of anything. He usually would deal with any mid laner fine, but wouldn't be involved in any of the early game plays, any of the early kills, and that's been shifting. Less emphasis on Uzi, more on him, and that's right about the time Starhorn started to find more success.
Exactly, and of course the meta shifting back into traditional lanes helps them here. We'll see if they do go for a lane swap though, maybe not wanting to risk Tricky Boy and San taking on Uzi and Zero. That said, if they do that, the other big mismatch for these teams, which kind of makes them fit like puzzle pieces, is the Go-Going versus Kula match in the top lane.
That's exactly the opposite. Go-Going has been such a driving dominant force in that top lane, and Kola, arguably the weakest top laner in the LPL.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's not the all-star for his team.
Well, he's definitely the one that people don't really look at on his team. But speaking of teams to look at, it is of course OMG. Taking a look at them on your screen, and we'll introduce them in just a moment. But these guys, the old guard, the men in black, the gangsters as they like to be called.
The hardest working team in China, and here we go with their intros. It should start in the top lane, so we should see, yep, it is going to be Go-Going.
That's the guy you can't really, you see him once and you know him the rest of your lives. He's very distinct, and he has been rocking Aurelia quite frequently in this meta.
He is a hard carry top laner. He wants the 1v1. He wants to draw attention. He wants to force you to come up and fight him, and he can 2v1 pretty effectively.
Yep, of course, in the jungle it will be Drug, also known as Alan or Loveland in the past. He's found, I want to say, not mixed success, it's been generally good, but they have had a lot of roster switch-ups, and that's, you know, when they finally settled with him sitting there, it's definitely a good thing for them. And of course, their mid laner, even better for them.
Speaking of roster switch-ups, Cool, of course, returning this split from the injury list. Pretty much the all-star mid-player of China. All the versatility of his champion pool, the versatility of his play style. He is the huge factor for OMG going into this.
Giant champion pool, and it's just impossible to deal with the guy. Have his hands fall on the other side of the map, but of course, in the AD carry role, it will be San. Long considered the weak point of the team, but more so the fact that they just don't rely on him is what makes OMG a very interesting team compared to others in the LPL. And he's been okay, all said and done.
And again, it speaks very highly to OMG the fact that San is considered their weakest point, because by all means he's not, you know, the detriment really, and of course it's going to be Dada7 taking up the bot lane with him. And we've talked a lot about the fact that last second replacement considered the weaker support of the one that they formerly had, and seeing if San and Tricky Boy can really get off to the same foot and find success here if they do a lane swap or if they find the 2v2 against Uzi and Zero.
Yeah, speaking of Uzi and Zero, we're going to see them in just a minute, but that Starhorn Royal Club, they're kind of becoming a really, really fan favorite, I want to say, for a lot of people, and it's a completely different team. If you're joining us for the first time, and you may recognize Royal Club from Worlds, the only person still on this team from the World squad is, of course, going to be Uzi. This is a totally different squad. This has been a completely different mentality, and honestly, they've really shaped up into their own with a lot of the changes they made, but here they are, coming up on your screen. Of course, it is going to be first up support player. That's Zero. He did come from the KT organization as well, and I believe if you watch the finals, the OGN, they did the little KT Where Are They Now video, and they were talking about how he's off being mad life in China. Pretty much.
That's a pretty accurate description. I'm loving the black uniforms coming out from them tonight. Usually they wear the white ones.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a cool answer to OMG's normal look as well. It's kind of a cool one.
Who is the Men in Black?
Oh, hello. He's looking very confident. He's got some tricks up his sleeve this game.
I would love to see him pull out the Vayne. Of course, a very big comfort champion. Other comfort champions for him are going to be a lot of Corki he's played. I was surprised that when the meta shifted with the AD carry items that he didn't go back to playing Caitlyn. Just because that was so big for him during the Worlds games, but hasn't really touched that champion. It's been Vayne, Corki, Lucian, things like that.
Yeah. We'll have to see going forward. There's still plenty of League to play. Of course, this is a best of 5 tonight. And in the mid lane, it will be Korn, who has been allowed a number of dangerous champions and come up big with them lately. Definitely going to be an interesting matchup in that mid to deal with Cool. Tough task ahead, though.
Most notable for Korn, though, is going to be his Orianna performance, and I'm very curious to see if OMG is going to let him have that champion. Not only in just making those massive, 5v5 changing shockwaves, but the fact that he's gotten Baron steals with the shockwaves. This is a huge threat for that player.
Yeah, and speaking of huge threats, there's Insec prowling the jungle, and you're not reading it wrong, you're not looking at it wrong. That was a Shaco pick. That's what Insec does. He's like the only person to pull that out, and he does it well.
It was AP Shaco, too.
It was, and it worked really well, actually. So we'll have to see if he does go up to those shenanigans again, or if he does something a little bit more normal. He has been finding success on Lee Sin and Rengar. Also, Kha'Zix has been favored. And then, of course, up to the top lane.
And it is going to be Cola in the top lane. Again, Cola he's not the superstar on Starhorn World Club. He's probably the weakest link if you had to look at them individually across the board. Plays Jax, Maokai, Gragas, so other than Jax, pretty meta standard picks. It's really about just hanging on in that top lane against Go-Going and perhaps finding a jungle advantage if Insec wanders up there.
Yeah, that's kind of going to be a tough matchup for him in any case. I mean, anybody who goes up against Go-Going, you get like a sticker, I think, if you beat anything on Go-Going. It's like, I survived. And that's, if they take the lane swap, that's another story, but something tells me that won't be initiated by Starhorn.
No, Uzi does not have the reputation, even if he's in a losing lane matchup, to take a lane swap. He's a very, I'm going to use the word confident. He's a very confident player in that he wants to prove his skills in a true 2v2.
Yep. Well, we'll have to see how this match does go forward. Again, it is a best of 5 today. This is the winner's bracket, and whoever wins this goes on to face EDG in the continuation of the winner's bracket. A lot on the line. These are the playoffs. OMG is definitely going to have a huge chip on their shoulder. They spent much of the split in first place. A lot of people are worried about them with the substitution, but you know, smiles all around. We'll see what they do manage to do, and of course, Starhorn, big superstars right now.
And you saw when they showed the kind of the last 5 matches played for both of these teams, OMG had a lot of blue, a lot of defeat in their, you know, finishing last in LPL, whereas Starhorn World Cup had all those victories. And of course, that was the real shift of OMG kind of falling into that 2nd place, which if they had taken first, it would have been their 3rd consecutive regular LPL season first place finish. So EDG just sneaking in there at the last second.
Well, it's who they beat and who they lost to as well. You had to look at it. OMG had rough times against World League Academy as late as week 9. I mean, this was the last place team in the LPL. They ended up, well, they did 2-0 against LGD, so I guess there's always some silver linings there, but they couldn't pull it out against Young Glory. I mean, definitely the story of 2 teams that are kind of crisscrossing paths in their trends. And Starhorn has had such unprecedented success coming up recently, across the board, really. They were able to 2-0 Edward Gaming in their last set of, well, it was week 9, and they just, I mean, that's huge, considering what we've seen EDG capable of doing in just yesterday's play.
Although I will underline that as you kind of bring up that topic, that EDG yesterday and EDG against Starhorn Royal Club, night and day different teams.
Very true.
Krill's performance alone.
They definitely save a lot of things, but nonetheless, Starhorn going to want to make it back to Worlds if they can. This is a big thing for them, and they will have to make it pretty far if they want to get the automatic spot. Of course, if you win the entirety of the playoffs, you still have to face off against Edward Gaming, unless you are Edward Gaming. That'd be a little bit weird to make them play themselves. And the winner of that will automatically get a qualifier, and everybody else, well, they have to duke it out for the last 2 spots.
And remember, it is a double elimination bracket, so loser of this best of 5 today will just drop down into the loser's bracket. The finals are going to be played, I believe, the 24th. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have a calendar in front of me.
That's it, 24th of August. That is a Sunday. It will be 1600 China time as usual, and that is 1 a.m. Pacific.
I forgot what I was going to say. I had something important too, and I got distracted.
You guys won't want to miss that, I think is what you wanted to put in there. That's going to be an amazing set no matter who plays.
I'm just trying to figure out what's on Cool's arm right now.
I think it's a Band-Aid. I've been wondering about that myself.
Oh, now that I look at Starhorn Royal Club, I recognize what I wanted to say. Going to Worlds, it had something to do with Starhorn. No, going to Worlds, Starhorn, or specifically Insec, has publicly stated that, you know, he doesn't really know the future of his position on Starhorn with the organization and how far he's willing to go with them. I know that the immediate driving force for Insec and Zero joining the organization were to go to Worlds, so it's kind of a big gamble that if they don't make it to Worlds, where do those 2 players' contracts lie and what will happen to them in the future?
That's fair.
So
we'll have to see
pressure is definitely on.
Yeah, for both teams, though. And we'll see with the picks and bans coming out. Yasuo taking away OMG on the blue side. Lulu banned out from Starhorn on the red, and nothing unusual after that. Fizz, now you have to ban, we didn't talk about this, but you have to ban Fizz away from Corn.
It's very focused on the mid lane right now. That Rise can either go to Going or Cool. Cool did play in the last game against, oh no, it was the first game of the last set against Young Glory. Oh, yeah. Not to a lot of success, but
Going has the strongest Rise in China, right? I mean, that's the thing you get the extra big sticker for. So it's a safe ban all around.
It's a flex ban. We'll see if they expend another ban on this mid lane or Corn.
Yeah, really has been a focus there, but yeah, they're going to ban out Zero's Braum right now. I think he's undefeated on it.
Okay, so word is that we are on 4.14, Maokai being banned out, which gives the Alistar. Alistar has been played both in the support and the top lane position for LPL so far in the competitive scene, so that's still definitely a flex pit. But immediately, Korn responds, my Orianna is open, I'm going to take it. Likewise, Zero picking up Thresh. Possibly, like, there are a ton of great Thresh players across LPL, but Zero is definitely the standout.
Yeah, he's doing absolutely fantastic. So, also being able to pick up the Orianna, yeah, for Korn, that's pretty big too. But what does OMG answer with? Wow, they go for the Kog'Maw lock-in immediately. And the Kha'Zix pick would be a total takeaway from Insec. Looks like
Rengar's still available though, so we'll see if this is 4.14 and Insec chooses to play the nerfed Rengar. That said, Kog'Maw did get hit on 4.14. His magic damage on his ultimate, I believe, from 125 to 100, and his base movement speed. Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, okay. So Lee Sin is looking like it's a little bit more of the flavor right now for Insec, as well as the Corki lock. And we've seen so much Corki lately, and this is a nice answer, mobility-wise.
What's utterly terrifying right now about this Starhorn Royal Cup composition being put together, every single one of these champions are comfort picks. We talk about how, yes, a lot of those bans were focused primarily on the mid position, but Orianna is still a good pickup for Corrin right there. And you have to expect, OMG would expect that he would go that route because those are kind of his top 3 champions. So picking up this Ahri here, see how Cool plays that out.
Yeah, that definitely helps Cool out quite a lot, but you got to be worried for the rest of OMG's comp right now. They don't trust Dota 7 to go on the Alistar. They rather would prefer that he picks up the Nami, but he hasn't really shown much success on anything outside of Thresh, and they weren't about to spend a first pick on it.
It's about the type of lane and the fact that you're bringing a sustained champion to a very aggressive lane. I think that's a very smart playstyle move to kind of counter Uziah and Zero's aggressiveness. That said, one good death sentence and it's a good night, sweet prince for that fish.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough time, and, you know, we have been getting word, of course, of a lot of the troubles plaguing them since Cloud has sort of taken his untimely departure from the starting roster. OMG has definitely a lot on their plate to deal with in the Starhorn team. We'll see how they do handle it. This is a really scary lineup from them.
The one thing that I do want to say, because yes, it's a very terrifying lineup from Starhorn Royal Club. All of these champions are comfort picks, so you just have to expect that OMG knew that this was how pick and ban phase would work out. Cool's Ahri. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Pyra, but it is possibly one of the best Ahris in the world. This is a huge champion for him. He had been playing it a lot on his Korean account, on the Korean server.
And we were really top 20 in like Korean solo queue. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, he recently fell just because he was practicing Yasuo.
Ah, well, fine.
He's been hiding this, and we knew that he played it, and we knew that he'd been practicing it again, especially with the Ahri buffs coming back to her in the recent patches. But he didn't bring it out, so I like to see that they're bringing it out for the finals here.
It's the playoffs. It's the trump card. You gotta put everything into the tank, as we see on to Summoner's Rift now for the first time tonight. OMG taking on Starhorn Royal Club. A lot on the line here, but it is a best of 5. There will be several chances today. And do you suspect any shenanigans? It looks like it's just going to be a line of scrimmage for now, though.
I think the big answer, or the big question for me, is going to be the lane swap. I don't particularly like Alistar in a 1v1. That said, Mundo's not going to be the worst champion to face across from. They're effectively just going to hard scale. I think Mundo's going to get the early advantage just because of his cleavers. See if Kola actually uses his cleaver to push around his weight in this top lane. Doesn't look like he's going to try for it, though. Oh, no, here he goes. And he gets to do this again. Oh, I'm just going to place it. There he goes. Yeah. There you go, Kola.
Any little advantage you can get on to go going is something that you're going to want to take full advantage of as the pause comes in at a minute into the game. This is going to be a rough bot game. Bot lane for OMG. It looks like they're holding out for a later stage anyways. I mean, picking the Kog'Maw is kind of like a telegraph to your opponent that we don't want to fight for 30 minutes.
Yeah, they do definitely have a lot of late game strengths. That said, Starhorn Royal Club, they also have very good staggerings of their different power points. Of course, you have Lee Sin for your early game, you've got Corki for your mid game, you've got Orianna and Mundo for your late game, so I mean, it's not the worst case scenario should this game go late because you're still competing against Shockwave, Mundo tank. And Corki's going to do, you know, decent mixed damage across the board.
Yeah, it really comes down to how well they can take the positioning and stand out some of the beatings that they might suffer in that bot lane early game. Going shouldn't have too much trouble against the Mundo, but, you know, nobody's going to kill anybody up there unless some jungle intervention happens. Where do you think the junglers, particularly Insec, make their first appearance?
Insect typically likes to focus the bot lane. Again, the synergy and the kill participation from Zero, especially because it's, you know, his Thresh and all of the versatility and the tools that he brings to help set up and facilitate kills for Insect. So I expect to be a lot of action there. He does occasionally gank Corn, but to not a lot of success. And you have to think that he's also facing down Cool, and that player alone, especially on Ahri, post level 6 is going to be very hard to lock down. So I expect a lot of focus on the bot lane or invading enemy jungle. The issue with the top lane, again, you know, talking about Alistar Mundo, I feel like Alistar's strong point is he's a very item-dependent champion for when he gets to survive his lane, you know, if they want to go that Trinity Shiv build, or maybe perhaps a little bit more traditionally tanky, but either way, he's more about the roam and everything that he can bring right there, and we've seen a lot of teams actually facilitate a lane swap with him to kind of promote more of that roam, and if he just sits in the 1v1, Going is very successful with his teleports, so that's kind of the factor, but if Going doesn't go anywhere, I would hate to see that Alistar go to waste.
Well, his name implies that he makes moves. I'll just say that.
He goes.
Yeah, he goes. Go-goes? I don't know. I think that's something in the 80s. It was before I was born.
I'm imagining those boots right now.
That would be terrifying on Alistar. He's got his own pair of boots. They were made for walking. He will take a little bit of move. Down to that blue side. Get a little help for Drug to start this off. This is a pretty standard start, of course. Where do you think, conversely, we talked a little about Drug, where do you think he makes the move? I want to say he helps Cool out in the mid.
Yeah, focus is typically with Cool. They gank a lot for Going as well, just because they recognize his ability to get snowballed. That said, he's not playing, you know, someone like Aurelia, so we'll see how they handle the cow.
Yeah, definitely focusing on a more protection-based composition for San as well. We'll have to see how that does work out for them. And, well, it's going to get started nice and easy. No crazy early aggression. And of course, the first game in the set's always going to be a little bit safer because everyone's trying to feel each other out.
Going's using the best Alistar skin. That's the best analysis I can give at this moment.
On the exact skin that he's using, of course, Longhorn. I like that one too. Only if you pair it with Sheriff Kate.
It's all about the little hat he wears.
It's a pretty awesome hat. Alright, in the bot lane, San and Dada already getting pushed in by Uzi, and I think that's respect more than it is actual, you know, push away. But he's got no CS just yet. It's been denied everything.
Also competing against the Relic Shield, so naturally Thresh is going to have a little bit more wave control. The issue with Nami is that she doesn't, you know, if you think about like Morgana as a support, she brings Tormented Soil, Thresh is going to bring the Relic Shield, and they're going to be able to clear those creeps, but hold on a second, because Insect...
Actually, Insect's going to find Drug. Okay, hello, he's just waiting. Just the face check. There it goes. Tempest coming in. Drug's in trouble. Has to burn his flash. It gets followed in on as well, and Zero making the roam out. This could be first blood. This could be trouble. And it looks like it is. Insect going to get that one. And he's going to get a blue buff reset.
And we talked about how Insect was either going to make moves in the bottom lane or he was going to make moves by invading the enemy jungler, not necessarily ganking his solo lanes. The really important thing right there, two things. Mechanically, the fact that Insect, you know, applied the Sonic Wave, although San
just a minute. San is in trouble. He's burning. And he had to burn his flash as well as Summoner heal, but he gets away. Still, Starhorn clearly looking like the offensive is working in their favor right now.
And this is what we've seen from them kind of on their rise, and again, it was the fact that there was communication between the bot lane and the jungler saying, you need to push up, you need to lock down this bot lane so I can successfully make this invade, whereas at the very beginning of the split, Insect would have done that without any assistance from his lanes and would have gotten burned right there, but a nice coordinated effort, even though Zero didn't technically get involved on the kill, just applying that pressure helped open up that play for them.
Yeah, it was a pretty big move, and it's been able to deny so much farm off of San as well as resetting Drug. He'll have a little bit more trouble on that Kha'Zix now. And you can tell, like, OMG just doesn't look as comfortable as Starhorn. How much of that do you think is the morale changes? How much of that do you think is the champion pickups? It's hard to say.
I just feel that was really expected, and effectively OMG just got burned because they didn't have protective wards in their jungle. So this is a vision issue.
Yeah, they're going to go get a little bit of that now, but it's still a lot of trouble as Drug is finding out a little bit of his jungle has been cleared away. Meanwhile, everything gets reset to a bit more normalcy. Not a huge lead for Starhorn, of course. It's very, very early. San feeling more comfortable to be able to farm up just a bit, but he's got to be careful to dodge those phosphorus bombs. Uzi is dangerous on just about anybody, but Corki in particular has been a big threat of late.
He's found a lot of success on Corki. We do see Insect kind of roaming down here as the wave gets pushed back up.
Called it. He's been favoring this quite a lot. He's still got his double buffs as well. And no, he's not going to find anything because San and Dada, they know to back off, but even so, just the threat of him being there is more than Alan is really doing right now, and it's giving Starhorn kind of this really nice early game mental pressure on OMG.
Insect does get a deep ward. He was also caught up by a ward. I wanted to talk about, we were addressing kind of, the fact that that first blood didn't give them an insane gold lead as far as, mathematically, but what they did lose is map pressure. The fact that they lost their jungler so early, and he lost his buffs, which effectively means that if Insect ganks anywhere, and it does happen to be an even 2v2, so if he ganks for that soul lane at the top, and Drug shows up, he's still effectively behind, which means that's already lost.
Yeah.
And that is, you can't measure that in gold.
Well, losing the jungler first is always a rough way to go, especially when at least one of the buffs are there, the other one just got taken away after the fact. It was really brilliant of Insect going around that side, and, well, Drug, he really had no reason to face check it, but he really should have read that situation a little bit better. So far, Starhorn simply outclassing in terms of their predictions.
The rotations, for sure, but OMG has learned. They bought a very early pink, got that up in their tri-brush, so that said, they have to maintain at least a decent amount of controls and just immediately get cleared away.
Yeah, well, it might in just a moment. They're pinging out Insect. They do know he is making his way down here, but he might just take down this ward without a whole lot of repercussions, because here we go in the bot. Dada 7 is low. He will get the bubble onto Uzi, but still, they're not too worried about it. That's going to be a pink ward going down, 30 gold into the pocket of Insect, and they're looking for the dive.
Ooh.
That was close.
Would have spelled disaster. I don't think Insect's going to go on that. Okay, no.
Interesting choice to focus out the support. I mean, I guess he was lower. And the gold, what it's worth right now is about even anyways. Uzi is still maintaining a comfortable advantage in the farm.
Insect returning to his jungle. Doesn't look like he's going to go for anything on the mid lane. I think he's just going to wrap around.
They're trusting Horn quite a lot, actually. Despite Cool's out farming, he's yet to really find a 1v1 pickup, which is kind of rare when you get to this caliber of play with these types of mid laners, as good as he is.
We'll see if
we'll see if that happens. San getting hooked on in. He could go down here. He's not got flash yet, and he burns. That's going to be Zero getting himself second blood, and Dada 7 trying to answer back. Kathy and Surprise, a lot of damage onto Uzi. They get the heal, though, and the bubble. Oh, my goodness. Teleport in.
Teleport, go going.
That's go going. He goes, and he finds himself Zero. They will revenge it back, but they had to burn a couple of summoners to do so. Uzi, happy that his support sacrificed for him, but that was, I think, a little sloppy by them, to be honest.
I'm very curious if Zero just thought that there was no way that he was going to be able to evade Gogoing's teleport coming in and just decided to try to trade 1-for-1 on the TP. Because definitely a mechanical misstep right there, but great time teleport for Gogoing to make, something of that bad situation. That said, Starhorn Royal Club does now know that the teleport is down, so they do have a TP advantage, and it's now about if Starhorn can pressure any sort of advantage with that.
Well, it gives Cola a really good chance to back. He actually hasn't had too much pressure on him in the top. He's been keeping pace perfectly with Gogoing. Drug now going to find Insect, or is it Insect who's finding Drug? He goes invisible. Well, he can't see anyways, but nonetheless, he can't follow up any damage right now. Drug's still not safe in his own jungle. And now they're collapsing towards San. He better be careful. Cog, wiggle those legs back home if you can. I think he realizes the threat, but is it too late right now, Frostgrin? San, this might be easy pickings if they land the hook. Ooh, he burns Flash. Okay.
Forcing him to burn Flash. And again, the mechanical proficiency on Thresh, leading with Flay as opposed to Death Sentence, knowing that he could just walk up to him. Now, the obvious play from Starhorn Royal Club right here is to look at the Dragon, because they have the teleport advantage. That said, they haven't had or timed their backs well enough to get the warding to secure that type of objective. But this should be kind of the next look for them, although Cool now actually roaming up and ganking the teleport.
Cool is trying to make something happen onto Cola so they can even the score a little bit. However, he backs off now. I think they just pinged danger, and they sort of guessed that he would be going up to the top. He wasn't seen out by a ward.
And it's curious, too, because you could say, well, they didn't have eyes on Insect, but they actually saw Korn walk out of minion vision over to the blue buff, so they could assume that that's where Korn was. So I feel like they had all the resources available to them to determine that that was going to be a 2v1, but I guess it was just a call of don't dive the Mundo. Maybe because they were on the blue buff and it could have immediately translated into a free dragon.
Yeah. Now they will see where Drug is, and he was thinking about moving up to the top instead. Going to focus a little bit more on the mid. It actually hasn't been as much of a factor in any of these lanes so far. Got to credit a little bit of that to the early shutdown that they were able to accomplish. Meanwhile, this bot lane, kind of a touchy business for all parties involved. Uzi and Zero, once again, looking for any advantage to keep themselves in the up and up, but so far a huge CS lead for them, and that seems to be all they need so far.
Terrifying CS lead for them, and look at the different itemization right here.
I mean, yeah, they're just harassing with everything they can. Uzi is able to dodge things out as well. Yeah, itemization pretty big. All things considered, they're both Trinity Force champions, and a Phage complete for just a pair of crystals, that's huge.
He also has a longsword. It's kind of curious that he, I mean, if he had sacrificed that Sapphire crystal, he could have completed his Phage.
Ooh, this could be big. They're going to recognize the deep threat. They saw Drug. Well, they had to figure he was there, and they, of course, saw Cool making its way down, and that four-man collapse could have been dangerous, but Starhorn wisely backing off.
And again, they've had a TP advantage, going to TP. You know, still possibly a minute out, but they're losing that short window of relevancy for this dragon and a numbers advantage on it. See if they can, you know, get a pick going for themselves. Insect going around.
He might wait till they push out just a little bit, but San and Data 7, they're really trying to be careful, but that was a lot of damage. The wave for the disengage, and Insect doesn't follow in on the resonating strike. Again, they try time and time again. I think they're trying to do what you're recommending, just get themselves the pressure in the tower or something so they can do it, but now they just force the dragon. But this is very dangerous. Drug is in the area. If they recognize this, this could end in disaster. There are wards scattered around the pit, and it's so far just a two-man as Uzi is showing up to the party, but so is Korn. This is going to be a fight. Or maybe not.
I think they're gonna let this one go. It's very dangerous to fight Orianna right now in such close quarters. Yes, they have the AoE of Ahri, but it's, you know, nothing to the devastation of the shockwave and the fact that their bot lane is so far behind and Dada had been taking so low. It didn't necessarily matter that they didn't find the pick. They got the tidal wave, which is a huge key ultimate for their team fight, and they pretty much got the numbers advantage because they took that member so low.
Yeah, it was definitely sufficient to say we can muscle this one out, and now they're looking to make some action happen onto Cola. Drug with the gank. However, he gets his ulti off. Mundo is harder and harder to kill. Burning Flash and Kite around the tower. It's going to be enough to save both his life and it as well, as he takes care of business overtime on those minions.
He also stalls out the global objective of the tower going down just barely. A stiff breeze will come along and take that out sure enough, but for now there's no immediate answer. Or Big Cow. There's no immediate answer of Starhorn Royal Club's dragon.
Yeah, everything OMG has attempted in this early game has been roundly denied by Starhorn. They definitely seem to be on the better foot, even if they don't have a gigantic lead to show for it. It's slowly starting to edge out in their favor, and they're going to enter this mid-game with a high level of confidence and an item lead.
And the scary thing is now that the dragon is done, Insect should be kind of freed up to put more pressure onto this top lane as well as the mid lane. And with going so far forward, this opens him up to, you know, a lot of ganks. Of course, he does have the Unbreakable Will available, but actually really low mana, so we'll see if Insect actually goes for something here. Meanwhile, bot lane drops.
Yeah, they were able to just poke that one out finally, and it's almost hard to argue that it was completely bad for OMG. They were going to lose that one anyways, and now if they get left alone by Uzi and Zero, it becomes like more of a free farm lane anyways. Oh, Cola's getting his ult on, and here comes Insect. Go and guess this one out. Burns his flash a little preemptively. Resonating Strike will be available. Oh, and Insect gets the kick that he's made famous for. Going could go down, but he's so very tanky. Finally, falling out to Cola. Good pick. Here comes Drug, though.
He won't be able to get anything. Although Cool is actually rotating up for a dive.
Yeah, this could be dangerous. That tower is so very low if they go for it. It's barely a dive, and oh my goodness, they go in. Spirit Rush. Insect's low. He's down. The tower's still standing, and they can't finish off Cola, but that's okay. They got who they came for. Revenge complete. Meanwhile, the bot lane looks just like it did when we left. A little bit of trouble.
And the response is that Uzi and Zero are going to rotate to the mid lane.
Oh my goodness, hello! That was a little overzealous of Drug. He falls down way too quickly, but they do answer back for Cola. Meanwhile, yeah, 3 members in this mid lane. Teleport coming in for Going as it just comes back up. Missed the death sentence. Can Going chase all 3 off of this? I don't think so. Uzi is low, but they might be able to find a counter engage here. Here's down to 7 Tower, still shooting at Uzi, and they barely keep it alive, but this is so close, and they're losing so much ground, Frost.
And Starhorn Royal Club is so methodical in everything that they're doing. That initial insect gank was only possible because they actually waited. He was so patient waiting in the brush to see if he could spot Drug out with one of those wards. As soon as he saw Drug was in the river, he immediately committed to the gank, picked up the free kill right there. And then when the counter engage comes from OMG, Starhorn Royal Club, immediately the shot call is go to the mid lane, try to make another global objective off of this. They didn't quite get it, but that mid tower, again, waiting for a stiff breeze to just come along and shove it over.
Yeah, at this point, the tower numbers kind of are deceptive because of how low that mid is. The fact that they were able to put some more pressure onto the second-tier bot. Son and Dota7 have not really been any cause for alarm whatsoever. As we expected, Starhorn World Club have been walking all over them in the 2v2 situation. That mid lane for Starhorn is also very low. I mean, this game is about to be blown wide open, but we just need that stiff breeze to come along.
The big thing going for OMG right there, Going is in a very healthy spot. Likewise, Cool has just completed his Deathfire Grasp, but of course he got that double kill right now. So a huge power spike for this Ahri. But again, it's about Cool finding these successful roams. He finally found one, you know, post 15 minutes in a game in the top lane, although they lost global objective and global pressure for it. It's now about can he turn this into something else.
Well, he might be in a little bit of trouble. First, it's hard to go 1v3 as he finds out the hard way. Insect getting the kill onto him. Yeah, Cool, they need him to get big. They need him to really start getting ahead and carrying the game because Son's not going to be able to do it. Going is not necessarily on a carry champion, although he is building a Trinity Force. There's a lot of problems with the way that they've been playing, though, and Cool cannot afford to be caught out like that.
Primarily, the vision has been very lacking. They effectively got burned by that lack of warding and initial engage or invade from Insect, and they've yet to really recover and get their footing back.
Yeah, they lose a lot of damage on the tower, too.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job by recognizing we have the advantage, we have the snowball, and they're just making very smart, methodical plays of, you know, setting up and continuing to pressure these advantages. They did use their teleport on that pick for Cool, although Cola wasn't involved with it, so that's going to be down. Dragon will be up in 1 minute. We'll see what Starhorn Royal Club and how they posture for this next objective, but if they take this clean, this could be, you know, the start of the end for OMG, at least for game 1.
Yeah, they can't afford to give up a dragon again, just because they need that extra gold in their pocket, so this will be the next hotly fought over thing. There are a number of key ultimates available, so if they can group up for this, there's no teleport now for Going, but he's not going to make any moves towards that top, and this might be our first real team fight of the game.
See how OMG performs with this again. Nice thing is that Corki and Kog'Maw both have the Trinity Forces complete. So as far as kind of a power spike between the AD carries, Son was able to go, you know, relatively even with that.
That's true. So despite, you know, the issues that were pervading that early lane, it was not to their detriment too much. Yeah, the real issue was that jungle, and we'll see if that does burn them here. The fight will begin in just a moment, although they're taking a lot of poke out. Starhorn looking to take the fight to protect their wards. And the clear goes down. Insect is... I don't think he still has double buffs, but you never know with the spectator client sometimes. Dragon's live. Cool is waiting around the side. Oh, they're going to push down a tower while they have a chance. Oh, but here we go. There's the fight. That's Dragon going really low. I don't know if they have a chance for it. Nope. Instantly getting picked up, and OMG misses their slim window. Starhorn, once again, coming up big.
They did trade a global objective for global objective, however, so there's the bright spot there.
Yeah, I was about to fall down anyways, though. I mean...
Oh, Cool.
Boy. They don't want to fight.
I was looking for the death sentence. But they need to pick, and this is the issue, is that, you know, Cool is on Ahri, very proficient champion, but Ahri is so reliant on making these picks, and to do that you need to have control of the vision, you need to have very smart wards, and that's pretty much what OMG got burned on and what's kind of kept them down this game.
Yeah, they've definitely had a lot of trouble with the warding. It seems like it has suffered the last couple of weeks. Not sure what's attributing that. It just suddenly kind of regressed.
Well, you have your support position that just got changed up, and probably the most
part of it.
Yeah, the most important warding positions are probably going to be in the support player's hands and the jungler's hands. So
no excuses for Drug though.
No excuses for Drug.
But he's not on a Sightstone really. Well, I mean, he could build a Sightstone, but he hasn't.
You didn't see my facial expression, but there was one.
I trust you. There's probably a look of somewhere between like ugh and face bomb.
You would hear it, I think, on the mic.
Yeah, just about. All right, so the win conditions though for OMG, they can't keep ceding this ground. They're not losing too many members and they're not taking any unnecessary fights, but Starhorn is just going to steamroll this with a massive lead if it's allowed to go on. What do they need to do to start getting back into this aside from picks?
Picks is a big thing just because you have Kha'Zix, you have Ahri. The team fight, I mean, yes, you have Kog'Maw, you have the disengage from Nami, so there's a lot of protection for him alone right there. Of course, you have Going, who's, frankly, his score doesn't necessarily show it, but I feel like he's been very competent on this Alistar so far.
He's out-farmed the Mundo. That's something.
Of course, have that unfortunate gank on him in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean that's like all things aside, Going has been doing fine. He's never really been the issue on the team, and the real problem right now is what's been not going on in that bot lane, and the fact that they need to lean so heavily on Cool.
And a big issue is controlling the map and getting the information to make the correct plays, and unfortunately, I mean, just look at how dark the map is right now. OMG, there's no dragon to contest, so they can start to move these wards, you know, back to their own river, to securing their flanks and everything. But unfortunately, just it hasn't really happened for them.
Starting to get a little bit more warding in there, but they're not maintaining the control. You're right. They've kind of let Zero go in there a couple of times and clear a lot of that out. Currently controlling the Baron pit, but they don't feel comfortable to even try and protect it. That's not going to last for very long.
Of course, Cola making a big pressure point in the bottom there. I feel like both teams are kind of waiting out, just looking for a pick in a river.
Something big is going to happen. It's like a powder keg. They're just going to like be waiting with like a lot of downtime, not a lot of action, and all of a sudden, everybody will be dead. They'll be like, how did that happen?
Very patient. If Starhorn Royal Club wanted to continue prioritizing objectives, it's either going to be that second-tier mid tower or the first-tier top tower. And they have a window for it right now just simply because Dragon's not up, so there's no reason to be on that side of the map, especially with that pressure point created going bottom right now, but they seem a little bit confused.
Yeah, a bit kind of haphazard here, and it's just kind of descended into this crazy ward wars that we normally see actually a little bit later. But both these teams are prioritizing a lot of that Baron vision control, and now they're particularly succeeding at it.
There they go. Okay, so they started to get the pressure going top. Of course, you have the jungler and mid laner underneath Uzi there, should a flank happen.
Yeah, they're trying to set up something with a bush face check, but it's not going to happen. Starhorn a little bit too smart for that. Zero taking the opportunity to get himself a pink ward in the Baron area. This could be cleared away, but yeah, they're starting to put pressure in this top and see if they can get themselves something for free. Going, meanwhile, continues to just duke it out with Cola, and it's hard to tell who's going to win this one. Neither of them going to go down without much of a fight.
Different playstyles. That said, Uzi finally got over to the tower.
Yep. Oh, and he backs away. That tower shot followed him all the way with the lantern. Mundo ult actually expended. Down on the bot side as Cool made an appearance to try and get a bit of a roam gank off. Meanwhile, Jug will leap on some farm in the mid. Starhorn playing this out very cautiously despite their lead. I think this is a smart thing to do. You can never count out OMG.
I don't know if it's caution coming from them in respect of OMG, or they simply don't know what to do. They seem very lost and confused. It took them a little bit to kind of recognize what the next easiest objective and snowball point was, but Drug going in, or
going out, rather, trying to, gets one more ult proc, whoa. So they trade towers top and bottom. Going completes that one as well, but now Starhorn is on the move, pinging around the Baron right now. I don't think they want to rush this, but they're certainly making it look like it. No, they're just trying to bait this out.
they're trying to force a fight, effectively. You have to think, Cola created that huge pressure point on the bottom side of the map, and in the time that he created that, Starhorn could have easily gone up and cleared that top tower. That wave got pushed all the way back by San. Going then made his way down there, pushed it all the way to the tower, and in the time that it took Starhorn Royal Club to realize what they needed to do, he had effectively traded a global objective. So that was really curious.
Yeah, very strange that it's kind of been all this back and forth, and Starhorn with the lead has kind of seen it sort of start to slip out of their hands. Now Dragon is up in 7 seconds. This is going to be the next big fight, but it's OMG that's actually in position to take their first one of the game. However, Starhorn starting to collapse towards the Baron pit. Could this end up being an objective trade? Only 3 members there. Frosker, and this is getting dangerous territory. The Dragon, they're calling the bluff right now, but they're not doing the Baron just yet. So OMG is going to be able to walk away with this one for free, or at least for the low cost of 1 blue buff.
A big part of that was the fact that Korn wasn't in position, had a untimely back for when they wanted to try for that Baron trade, if you will. So I think that was smart for Starhorn not to engage that.
Yeah, so I think it's a pretty good choice. And Starhorn didn't really answer with much of anything. It's hard for them to find something they could take. Maybe push down the second tier top. It would have been really rough going, but they're trying to establish pressure points on the map, and they don't seem like they know where they want to do it. It is very odd.
I mean, effectively for the last, 3 to 5 minutes, Starhorn Royal Club has picked up a top-tier tower, and in exchange, OMG got a bottom-tier tower as well as a dragon. So, as far as coming up bigger with their time, it's OMG, which frankly, Starhorn had the lead right there. I don't know why they kind of pulled up on the brakes and stopped their snowball, but kind of very uncharacteristic. Typically, they're more on point, hard on the paint, continuing to pressure, continuing to snowball, but for whatever reason they just lost it.
Yeah, really, really strange. And I don't really know what that can be attributed by. It seems like they are afraid to go far into this.
So much focus in controlling this Baron area and trying to get, I mean, they've been over there effectively since 21 minutes to 26. So for the last 5 minutes, it's just been one team going in, laying down the wards, clearing out all the wards, and then, the other team are mispositions and just runs in there and does the exact same thing. Looking for a hit,
Oh, Drug, he is low, but Zero has to bail out of that one. Insect going back on in, gets a kickoff. This will be the start of the first real fight. Drug is going down the wave, ride it, but Zero is going to go in for, oh my goodness, they get the big Oriana Shockwave, only landing on Cool, but that's all they need, and they now have a 2-man advantage going forward onto San. Can Uzi get himself another kill? All of a sudden, the heat has been turned on as they pick off the AD carry from OMG, and OMG is the way to describe that right now, Frost. 3 kills, and it looks like it's Baron time.
It was just this patient ward battle, each team just trying to look for the pick, and finally Zero finds it with a nice descent. It's kind of curious, though, because he got a little overzealous. Cool went hard on him. He actually flashed back over the wall as Insect went in, but they were able to find the pick there, see if they can transition this into a Baron. Going is full health.
Yeah, that's a scary cow coming at you. He gets his Unbreakable Will on right now, dragging away Zero, just trying to stall out. Insect is low. Oh my goodness, could this turn around? Down goes Insect, they've got no smite! Oh my goodness, he gets the steal! Going! Coming up, huge! Wow! I can't believe it right now. The Baron throw just happened to a cow. I think I saw you do that in solo queue.
I hope we see the replay of that. I don't know if he got that with an auto attack, if he got it off the pulverized AoE, or if he got it with the AoE on his trample, on his passive. That was huge. I can't believe Starhorn completely mispositioned. They all stacked into the bottom of the pit, and they didn't have a front line. So low, standing together. They needed to spread out. Okay, here we go. Here's the replay.
Yeah, well, all this starts with Drug, and he just gets hooked up.
Watch
they go really hard.
Back over the wall, though. He's like, never mind.
You can tell that they're trying to force this so hard, but Insect's like, no, we're doing this. We're going to get a kill. We're going to win the fight. He goes in. They manage to pick him up. Mostly dodge the wave. And this just goes completely crazy after this. And, they honestly should have gotten that Baron, but it was so smart of going to take out the smite. And then it was actually kind of easy pickings to take it. Yeah, without a smite, you can grab it.
Beautiful play from Going. I wish that they would show us that Baron, though, because, wow, just walked in there, didn't even teleport, just literally walked from base to the Baron pit, killed the jungler, and stole the Baron.
Yeah, actually, wait a minute. Hold up a sec.
I think it's a glitch.
There was a, yeah, that totally was a glitch, because everybody has Baron buff, and I'm like, that's not right.
Although OMG doesn't have it.
Okay, so you know what? It said Going took it, but he didn't. Well, that's a weirdest spec. Oh, man. That makes us look silly.
No, this is like the spectator
It's like
glitch
the
where
Twilight
Jarvan
Zone. Oh, well,
was
Going's in
quiet
trouble right
yesterday.
now. This is danger. He gets out.
I wish I could see the replay now. I'm very
Yeah,
curious.
I wish they would replay the rest of it, but that, yeah, so okay. So let's just assume Starhorn did manage to pick it up. That makes a little bit more sense, but very strange that it looks like Going got it.
Well, apparently, Starhorn was able to.
Okay, so it's not so bad for Starhorn.
Kind of a change and derail of momentum, however. So obviously, with this Baron, it would be the next snowball objective. Starhorn would be in the driver's seat here.
Now they've got only a few members have it because regardless of the results at the Baron pit, Going did manage to grab himself a couple of kills on the end of that, so that worked out really nicely. And Zero going in with a hook, doesn't manage to find anything, but they do take a tower out. So Starhorn is continuing to put pressure, and they've now gotten the last outer mid-tier, controlling a lot of the jungle. But OMG has some life in them. They have a chance to come back into this. They just can't afford to get caught anymore. Get some ward clear on. Okay, so I feel like Starhorn still doesn't want to fight, even with the Baron buff. It's really hard to say at this point. Really weird. But anyways, guys, we have a couple of technical issues, by the way, on one end with one of our casters. We'll try to bring her back, but I'll take this one solo for just a moment. So, with the way that this fight, or rather lack of fight, is going, it seems like the pressure's definitely on the side of Starhorn, but it's still a lot of trouble for OMG to really handle right now. They can't afford to take a fight. Starhorn is still afraid to lose some of those buffs. They're still afraid to give up a lot. So it will be a very slow push, but they'll keep on trying. So now, Insec is going to try to apply a little bit of side pressure. They're going to be able to take this dragon now completely for free, but we'll have to see how this one goes. Anyways, I'm going to bring in a actual different caster for the time being, guys. So 1 second, we'll get this going, and I'll be right back with you.
因为就像之前刚才分析那个阵容一样，他们没有其他更好的先手，所以他的存在感非常的强。就是靠着 Zero 慢慢的找机会。对。
Alright, so with the way that this is kind of shaping up right now, OMG still doing alright. They have about a 5,000 gold deficit. They don't have the Baron buff. They definitely are able to get a little bit of pressure on in the jungle. But the issue right now for them is if they get caught out. Yeah, this is going to be absolutely crazy. And stepping in, by the way, for Frostgrin, guys, please welcome Reed Rapid Mountain right now. What's up?
Well, hello there, Devin Pyrotechnics, y'all.
Oh, the full intro. We're doing it today. Thanks for stepping in on short notice.
Hey, no problem. It's good to be here. Another thing that's good to see here is a Starhorn Royal Club maybe had a little bit of a rough start towards the middle of the season, but they're looking good here versus OMG, possibly because of the switch up for supports in the bottom lane. But tell me what you've been watching this entire game. What's really most impressed you?
Honestly, it's the early game pressure Insect's been exerting, and this is kind of like his signature style anyways. He's been able to be apparently all over the map. It was a bit of a misplay at the Baron pit, and as it looked like he glitched out for us for a second, but he's still been massive, and he's let the bot lane really kind of snowball ahead even farther than it might have. Uzi and Zero, clearly the stronger lane, but they've been made even more so.
Exactly, and it's really not necessarily like a huge snowball rolling. Kills actually spread pretty evenly between Starhorn. Death Sentence lands on Adana.
Oh man, that could be trouble. That's a pickup for Drug though. Cole is down. It's a 5v4 right now. The kickback going. Oh man, they're just disengaging so well though. OMG's hard pressed to find more than just one kill.
And Nami as a fish, pretty used to being caught out there by Hook.
I suppose so. Hello. The wave
man,
doesn't connect on anybody. That's some problems though right now. Zero. They're still bailing out of this one. I think they might find Korn. Wow, that was a big shockwave, but it won't be enough damage. Zero still in there. That's a lot of crazy trouble, but it ends up being a double kill for San. this is still an advantage for OMG. They will be able to find Uzi as well. Just Insect left out. How did this go so screwy? Rapid, I don't know. Starhorn could be aced here. Insect on the run, flashing away from the charm. And they are still going hard for him with Go-Going leading the charge. Oh, they're going to get him.
Will catch up. There's the bubble to follow it up. Insect goes down. It's a 5-for-1, Pyra.
Yeah, that it looked bad when they lost Drug, but OMG really does keep its cool. And speaking of, that guy's 4-2 right now. When you let him get rolling, especially on Ahri, it's going to be scary. The Shockwave wasn't stellar like we're used to from Corn. I don't know. It seems like Starhorn's slipping a little bit.
And honestly, with OMG having swapped up their support in the bottom lane, all eyes were kind of on Cool to, as you know, one of the more consistent players there to kind of bring things back, and he is definitely taking up that mantle. He's got Deathfire Grasp into Death Cap. There's a whole lot of death going on there. So OMG.
Speaking of death,
yeah, there we go. But who's death? Pyra?
I don't know. It's hard to tell before this is going to end right now. And there goes Drug in there. They are afraid kind of to check into this. I think this Baron will definitely go to OMG. So I'm 1-for-1 on Baron calls tonight. Or rather 1-for-2, excuse me. And they will pick that one up. That was actually a really nice power move by them. It denies Starhorn a lot, and it buys OMG a few more minutes back into this game. Gold lead's very slim now. And yeah, Starhorn, I don't know, the win conditions have changed, Rapid.
Alright, so yeah, win conditions, how do you, so what do you do if you're Starhorn Royal Club? You tried to push down that bottom lane. They actually made a nice hook onto Dada7, but when your tank line as Cola dies and he's the first to die in the fight, probably need to either, you know, sit him in a, not necessarily a safer position, but just watch out for that counter engage. With Starhorn now pushing down the bottom lane successfully, you know, something tells me that might be the last objective they get for the next 3 minutes as OMG coming out with this Baron buff looking right back on top.
Yeah, so they will be able to take fights from here. I think they've gotten past the we have to worry about San getting up to the level that he's comfortable on. I mean, that's a Blade of the Rune King, Trinity Force Kog'Maw. He's also got the Last Whisper, too. I mean, that's... I think Starhorn has kind of missed that window that they had, and they still have a lot of deep threats. They still have Uzi, but it's 2-2 and 4 for both the AD carries across the board, and the real man to watch is OMG's mid laner, Cool. He's got a number of kills to show for his efforts, and they don't seem to have an answer in this team fights. However, it has been very messy from both these teams so far.
So what's next to talk about for OMG? You've noticed Go-Going has been able to shove up the top lane, and of course, you know, there's Uzi and Zero there to stop him. But the real rotation that I think is going to come when OMG finish clearing out the wards in the Starhorn top lane jungle, and then make their switch from the top lane to middle, or just try to catch somebody else out as they enter in. Insect started to ward things up, at least to the best of his ability, but with double pink wards in that upper jungle. Now it's Cool versus Insect. Cool. They kick back in.
That could have been bad. I think Insect realized the threat of that one as the DFG goes flying. And still, Insect is trying to make a lot of solo moves, but he's cut off from Starhorn from the rest of his team. Now OMG looking to push up the mid just a little bit. They will back away from this, but I don't know, man. It's hard to tell at this point because both teams still giving themselves a lot of respect, or giving each other rather.
Nice to see Insect pick up like the Hex Drinker. A lot of Lee Sins we've been seeing just go you know, one offensive item in the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and they go full tank after this. But that'll help him out against Cool and against Sun, whose Kog'Maw will put out a lot of ability power damage. So nice to see at least that coming in as maybe a more offensive item than going something like maybe a Locket of the Iron Solari or something like that for magic resistance. A little bit more personal, a little bit more damage, and OMG, they're using this extra pressure that they can put on the map to, wisely enough, take objectives. So not just sitting on the Baron buff, they're taking dragons, they're putting up ward coverage and pressure through that upper jungle, and now they're actually rotating down towards the bottom half of the map. See if they can push that in as Corn recalls.
Yeah, they're actually able to really cut this gold advantage that Starhorn had for a while, and they don't seem to have an answer on that red side. We'll see if they can defend this tower. They're mobilizing for it, but there's a lot of damage being dealt. OMG going in there. Oh my goodness, big moves onto Zero, and he's getting melted. The ball comes back around the other side as they get themselves a tower. Cola is here, but he's late to the party. Going, looking to make some moves in the front line. Cool with the Spirit Rush, and they chase them all the way back on in, turn their sights onto Insect now. Drug, he's caught way out. What was he doing there?
Whoa! That is the wrong side of the wall to be on. And he definitely felt that a little bit hard. Now, Zero did get picked off too, so at least it's a 4-on-4, but no Kha'Zix in there is really going to hurt OMG, who are now
especially with Cola. Dada7 is in trouble. He has to burn it Summoner heal now as well. Cola going in, oh, he just avoids everything, but they do have a Kog'Maw pelting them from the back line. That is going to be not the back line, though. San is in trouble. Insect knows it, and he gets himself a pickup kill. Cola now having to run away from the Acathian Surprise, and he will go down anyways, but the damage has already been dealt. Cool, he could fall down. Phosphorus Bomb, another pickup by Uzi. Dada7 in trouble, and this is the messiest we have seen these teams at right now, Rapid, but it is a 3-for-1 and about to be 4. Uzi is eyeing some sushi on the menu, and he'll take the last kill onto Dada7.
That Uzi dodge of Dada7's bubble was just sick, and then the follow-up kill, of course, a big pick. Drug, I don't know who gave him the call to go into that base, but that was a little bit ahead of schedule. The rest of his team not quite following it up, and then the flash of the Ari charge from Cool to allow Cola to catch and really set up those picks is just really huge. Going in.
Yeah, he's going to get hooked back up, however, as he tries to disengage from that one. Insect is going in, however, Drug gets an answer onto him as well. Uzi is in trouble, but they manage to get the explosion onto going, and Drug narrowly dodging out the ball, but he's still being chased down. This is still Starhorn's game. Everybody but Drug is down. Oh, it might be him too. He gets hooked up. Zero follows him all the way to the other tower, and they force them back for the time being. Actually, don't finish it off as San comes back up. So very close calls all around, but OMG is able to save it. I know, I'm having hard palps from this one too.
OMG definitely living up to their name. I find myself saying that way too much, but I'm realizing that it's not quite as funny as I think it is. I always get this, we're going to check out a replay here, and I think this is really going to show what on earth happens. Drug jumps in on Insect, and all of a sudden he's just like, which side of the wall am I on? Insect's just like, the one I put you on. Takes him down there, and it was all Starhorn from that time on. Once again, like I said, a big initiation after that fight by Cola to really bring that one home for Starhorn. And now you can see OMG maybe not quite as far behind as they were before, but still, you know, they're out there on the map. They're putting on additional pressure with some pink wards being placed, and you know, a nice vision control of that bottom half of the map there by Drug. So still out on the map, still looking to make plays, but with San all the way bottom. Why do OMG have their AD carry bottom when Baron's up in 30 seconds?
Yeah, it's a hard call. They are sending it back right now. However, Starhorn, yeah, they're taking the incentive to get as much clear as they can before they start this one up. They're going to force a fight out of it. This is totally clear-cut Starhorn, although, ooh, the death brush.
Oh no!
They're just waiting.
OMG have to see this coming, and they'll check the raids over the wall with some ward coverage. And Insect's just like, I'm over here. Of course, Insect actually put the ward on the inside of the wolf cam. And I think that's to scout people out for doing it. I thought he meant to put it over the wall, but it looks like Starhorn, they are setting up the bait for Baron Nashor. 3 seconds, and it's up. Will OMG react in time?
Well, it's getting bursted down pretty hard. 41 minutes into the game. It's hard to make a call for not having to contest. This is going down way too fast, and maybe they can actually get the steal off this time. No, they can't. Oh my goodness, Drug. He's way too far in there. Gets the jump off. Insect dodging out the charm like a pro. Cool has to use his ultimate on, and Zero barely missing with the death sentence. That was the closest set of skill shots. Oh my goodness.
Zero almost landed that sort of Insect-esque hook off the Spirit Rush away from Cool. That would have been so sick. And really just this entire series, I want to say back and forth, but I mean Baron buffs in the span of, you know, right on cooldown, going first one to OMG, second one to Starhorn. So back and forth in that regard, certainly, and man, the series just does not let up. Keep in mind, if you had had this series play out maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when the OMG had their bottom lane still, I guess, quote-unquote intact, it would have looked a lot different. But you can really see the bottom lane contribution just not quite what we're used to. The 9 assists, though, do speak well for Dada7's ability to be involved with his team in the kill count, but he really needs to be the one either counter-initiating for San to really allow him to get that DPS, but charm over the wall, man, it's cool looking to get the initiation started out.
Yep, they try to force them away, however, from this tower and just keep it on the recovery path. So far, they've been able to turtle up at their base just well, but without a whole lot of pressure on their side, it might only be a matter of time here with the Baron up. Members of Starhorn World Club looking to make moves. They've got no wave to fall back to, though. Insec actually getting charmed up. This could be the start of a fight, but they're going to back off it again and continue the siege. They got to deal with that bot, too. That's a ticking time bomb of a wave.
No Zillions in the game, but ticking time bombs. Still got it. Starhorn will continue their push in to that top lane. Man, with Baron buff and that Dr. Mundo regen, I'm pretty sure Cola could just sit underneath the turret with all the armor he's got stacked up, and Starhorn could just push it onto that.
Ooh, that was close with going. I don't think they wanted that. Okay, let's not get the cow.
Try to keep it exciting. Yeah, I don't think an initiation onto Alistar is really quite what you're looking for. OMG are doing a good job with the wave clear, but with somebody as tanky as Dr. Mundo, I'm not sure they can resist for that much longer.
Well, they got a problem on the bot side now. That wave has already made its way, and it's growing every second now. Rapid, this is the time for Starhorn to strike. Will they go in for the fight here? They get a hook off, going, but they still back away from it. They're completely stalling this out as the bot wave continues to push. OMG has to answer. They're going to send Cool finally. This becomes a 5v4. This is danger zone.
Kha'Zix, very good for the wave clear as well, so he and San will have a lot of long-range AoE poke, so some good wave clear, even though Cool was sent down bottom. But Drug keeps getting picked off here, poked down just a little bit, so he's trying to head back, and can't get out of there just yet.
I don't think he has a chance to do it. I mean, this is, they leave for 1 second. Oh man, Drug is low again. Going. He keeps trying to take a fight to him, but they're getting a little bit more poke on the tower every time. It seems like they're just chipping away slowly at the defenses of OMG, but they're holding firm for now.
But Starhorn, they're really not committing into this. I think instead of trying to poke the turret down, they're just going in and out, looking for an engage opportunity. With that Baron buff, Starhorn look more like they want to dive and fight, get kills and win the game, rather than just slowly poking that turret down, although Uziai's getting some hits on it.
This is being defended very well, actually, though, as Starhorn is almost wasting their Baron buff, not doing much to push in and take a fight. Oh, well, they try now, but that was a quick disengage out of Drug, and Insec realizing he didn't want to follow that one in, backs away again. So, successfully defended. They've hardly given anything up for this.
And if you'll notice what Cool did when he walked down bottom lane, he didn't full clear the wave. He actually left 2 or 3 minions, so the wave actually started slow pushing the opposite direction, which is really, really smart, because that means he'll be able to stay top lane or stay in a different lane and have his presence there instead of having to split bottom for the wave clear. But Starhorn, with their Baron buff now dissipated, were not able to crack the base. OMG with a nice defense still will need to go transition from that defensive mode back towards offense now that this Baron is gone from Starhorn. So good defense. They're still in it. It's 45 minutes of the game.
It's getting to that point where you can't make any more mistakes, and Starhorn going into this with more gold, that will become less of an issue, I suppose, as we get all the full items built out, but they're still coming up to that level. The gold lead is about as high as it's been in this game, but again, it means less. Oh, Drug! Oh, he gets caught out by Uzi. Wow.
That's Uzi-I. Anticlimactic pick. Yeah, exactly. And for Uzi-I to be there, that's literally like 2 people. Like I mean, Korn was right off to the side, but you had Alistar was bottom. Or not Alistar, but Insec was back in base, and I believe that Zero was there too.
Well, Insec is that guy. He is that AD carry that will flash to get a kill and surprise you with just his audacity to do it easily. It's a 5v4 right now. Oh boy. Danger zone. Hello.
Man, Cola, very far up there. He didn't care. He's tanky.
I mean, he's a Mundo. He's good. He's got this right now. If they can push on this one, they will manage to finally crack the base. OMG not keen to give them the opportunity, though. Rapid, it seems like they're having a hard time in this base. A minute and a half till Baron comes up. Insec starting the fight up, getting a kick only to the side on San. They won't connect on the hook. They might have to bail out of this one now. Cola is tanking through everything, but he's still getting poked out. Zero's in a bit of trouble. Going and Cool. The ball's going to land. Cool is low. He goes down. That's a pickup going over to Korn as they once again march through this, and it looks like they have managed to crack the base. Going, trying to tank out all the damage of Starhorn Royal Club. And for a second, it looked like he was going to do it, but that is 2 kills. Oh my goodness. That's an inhibitor. And Starhorn World Club, this might be the beginning of the end, but it's still a ways to go against this OMG squad.
Yeah, for a few seconds, you're Superman when you have that Alistar ult on, but as soon as Go-Going's ult wore off, turned back into Clark Kent. And he was, I suppose I should have made a kryptonite
Clearly one is easier to deal with than the other as... Oh my goodness, they're marching on through this. I think this is only going to end one way now, Rapid. It will be the final fight for OMG. Can they save it? They are low on the side of Starhorn, but they're moving around for the Nexus, trying to get a little bit more picks, and that's going to be the end of the game. Surrendered at the very end of all that.
Yeah, OMG just didn't even let that game go towards go on any longer. Starhorn Royal Club will. You can see the look on UZI's face.
That is frustration like, win.
Oh
that is,
my god!
What a game
so
one.
Back and forth.
Yeah, that leaves a lot to be thought about now for OMG as they go into game number 2.
For the bottom lane, especially for OMG, they've got some questions they need to answer, but primarily I think, especially with that last pick being so effective at ending the game, that was just, that's what turned it, and you have to be a little bit more careful. Maybe that was just UZI just making that big play, picking off the jungle,
I think it set it up.
Turning. Right. So, looking for a comeback in our second game as OMG are starting to bring it back. We'll get that game coming your way in about 10 minutes. But in case you guys are just joining us, welcome to the LPL, broadcast here in English. Game number 1, the victory for Starhorn Royal Club. Game 2 coming your way in just a minute.
竟然比 OMG 还快，有点出乎我们的意料。对，就竟然比 OMG 还快，这个是蛮不可思议的。就 OMG 的反应慢了，然后皇族的反应够快。对，所以中文整场比赛我们可以看到，皇族这场比赛之所以取得胜利，就是在各个地方细节做的都比较好，都有比 OMG 就是多想了一步，
细腻。
对。好，而且尤其我们来看一下这个团我们先来回顾一下这个团战。这个团战我觉得非常关键，大力金刚脚，
直接
灵药落地的地方不太好，然后因这个反应非常快，一脚踢出去以后立刻飞身追影，补上一个 Q， 自己也回到安全范围。这一波不是一个关键点，但是这一波的效果非常好，而且让 Insec 大露脸，我只能说，就他那一瞬间的判断，本来是 OMG 想要抓 Insec， 结果没有想到，本来他那位置就很危险，对的。然后这地方达基承受了极大的伤害，而且只要没点燃的时候就打不动蒙多，这个也是 OMG 的硬伤，毕竟流氓英雄啊。现在点了，然后蒙多就撑不住。对，这个大招杆也是大到好处，直接打到对面的 C 位。那这后面追王主北追王主北交了一个闪现往前打，因为知道无状态，他魅惑还没 CD 好，一波把他打倒。哇，这一波是真的很帅。OMG。